Cotney Attorneys and Consultants is dedicated to helping the construction industry with legal, business, and safety challenges. Welcome to this week's episode of Law and Mortar with John Kenny and Trent Cotney.
Hey, this is Trent Cotney, CEO of Cotney Attorneys and Consultants, and this is another episode of Law and Mortar. As always, I've got John Kenny, CEO of our consulting group. John, how you doing?
Doing great. It's good to be here today.
I know it's never a dull time with us, right? We've always got stuff going on. So earlier today, I had a great webinar with NRCA. We were talking about the problems with price material increases and material shortages. And I got a lot of great questions. Had the opportunity to go over a lot of different things. One of the things that kind of came out of that, and what I want to talk to you about, I guess, is dealing with suppliers or manufacturers that ship direct.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes, as you know, John, legal is fine and it is what it is, and you got to go that route. But really, you get stuff done with just business and politics a lot, right? It's who you know, how you know them. And what I've seen a lot of times is your ability to kind of negotiate with suppliers. It depends on, your reputation, in the industry, where are you politically, your size, obviously, and, the longevity of the relationship, how long you've been with that supplier. When you're facing, times where material prices are increasing dramatically, being able to negotiate with the supplier to kind of assist you and help you ease that burden is critical. So, as a contractor, in your experience, what did you, kind of experience in that world to hear about that could help contractors sort of navigate material price increases?
Well, there's always been a couple schools of thought when it comes to buying materials through the contracting world. Either you're always going, in a lot of businesses way, you're always going out for bid on every project you do, and you're always using the supplier with the lowest price or manufacturer. That happens a lot in the industry. The other school, which is the one that I always took when I was in the side, is you get the best price you can negotiate with a preferred vendor. So the preferred vendor then knows how much business approximately you're going to do with them, and the preferred vendor leads you to your manufacturers, which ones you're using. So when it comes to these times where the escalation of materials are almost unknown, because you don't know what they're going up every month. There's no guarantee it's only going to go up this and not that. When you have a preferred vendor, preferred client, it's a relationship-based buying strategy, which will always come back to help you in these times, because they're going to take care of their preferred customers, which you will be one, the same as you want to take care of preferred customers. So I have always found in all the years I've been in there, relationship buying always pays off in these situations. So if you haven't been practicing that, it may be a good time to at least start to work on that in your company, because I think we got some rough material increase times well ahead of us. I don't think it's 2 months out, 6 months out. I think we're going to face this in the next year.
Yeah, absolutely, John. That's the same exact thing I'm hearing on my end. And oftentimes when customers call my side, the legal aspect of it, it's usually because there's a problem with a manufacturer or supplier, right? And one of the things I really am a big believer in is relationship building within that vendor, okay? Because you may only have one point of contact with a sales rep, but that sales rep may be gone somewhere else to a competitor tomorrow, right? So the key is to build depth, not just in the sales arena, but in the tech rep arena as well. Because, for example, if you're dealing with a manufacturer and you've got a warranty related issue, your salesperson is only going to help you so far. And then it's always good to get to know management. It's pretty easy to go straight from the rank and file to the top and get stuff done. Fortunately, John, you and I both have great relationships with a lot of the manufacturers and suppliers in the industry. So that's something that anybody that's listening to this, regardless of whether you like, shaking hands and going to meetings or not, this is the kind of thing that when you need it, it's there. I consider relationship building to be a lot like insurance, right? You don't know when you might need it, and obviously it's great to learn things and make contacts, but always good to have those connections. So, John, next thing I want to turn to is we have been doing some very interesting things on the Cottony Capital side. And for those of you that don't know what that is a private equity investment group. We also have some VC capability, venture capital capability, and we are focused on the technology and in particular, product space that deals with both renewable energy and the potential for better utilization of sustainable energy. So one of we had the opportunity, obviously, to listen to and hear pitches. And, we designate a certain time every week where we have that opportunity. Obviously, we can't kiss and tell and disclose everything that we've seen. But one vendor in particular was very interesting. And I posted something recently about robotics. I really think that automation and robotics is going to help solve a lot of our labor shortage. Okay. I see a lot of opportunity, not just, for drone usage, but I see even more opportunity for the use of robotics on roof systems to help with tear off, help with install, help with automation. And it excites me because I think there's a lot of opportunity there. Imagine a world where instead of having to send a crew out to a project, you send a supervisor and a team of automated machines or robots or whatever to install the roof system. Okay, it changes how we go about doing work. So, John, I know you are heavily into that space and you deal with a lot of this on the consulting side. What are you seeing and what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think robotics, again, is another technology part of the industry that has moved way up in the last year and a half with, or last year or so with the pandemic. That people are rushing to get things done. You've seen it start in the restaurant end and work its way up through manufacturing. Now it's ready for construction. When I say ready, it's not ready to come out tomorrow where you're going to be putting them on the roof, but we're real close. You're going to see it in the next year or so. There's some very interesting things going on out there. Far as automation goes, having it be able to tell where the edge of the roofs are, having it work with openings, actually, I'll say bend over. I don't know what a robot really does, but it bends over to pick the debris up to actually tear the roof, set insulations in place. It's pretty amazing. And they're getting closer and closer with, like you said, we've seen a lot of stuff we can't talk about, but that's kind of a good generalization to let you know that I'm not saying we're quite ready for the Jetson looking robot, but we're probably not too far off. It's a lot closer than people think.
Yeah, absolutely. And what excites me is sort of the synergy between all these different technologies that we're seeing. I see, a significant amount of possibility to use both VR and AR, augmented reality, in the use of robotics to help, install roof systems or other construction components on a job site. So definitely it will be here quickly. That I think is something that you can anticipate in the next 5 years. So another topic I want to talk to you, John, about is something that's been hitting the news a lot, and that is, vaccine passports. It's interesting because, for those of you who don't know, there are some government entities, we've heard, like cruise lines, for example, some other, retail spots that have said that you basically need a evidence proof of vaccine in order to, attend an event, or proof of vaccine in order to enter a retail space or to travel. And it's become very contentious. Our Florida governor here has taken a hardline stance against it. There are some constitutional challenges, but I can also see from a retail standpoint or from, a travel standpoint that it's good to have that certainty. If you are on a flight where everybody has proven that they're vaccinated, you could probably let your hair down a little bit, right? So I can understand that side of it too. What's interesting is from an employer standpoint, okay? From an employer standpoint, when you get into this, obviously you get into more of an HR dilemma. And where we're seeing this in the industry is we've got a lot of contractors that have started receiving bids that are requiring that their employees be vaccinated. This kind of ties into this passport idea. So what's curious, what I think about from a legal standpoint, is how do these sort of anti-passport laws affect these private job sites where owners have decided that for whatever reason, regardless of its safety or otherwise, you got to have, vaccines in order to work on that job site. So very interesting. Obviously, I think there's some ways around it, but I guess I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, John, and see what you think.
Well, I think you're seeing almost like an alternate reality to that. You're right. There's a lot of pushback on having a vaccination passport or a vaccination pass. And I don't think that's going to go away. And you're right. Our governor actually just filed suit this morning in behalf of the industry for cruises. So we'll see where that goes. But that all being said, I'm starting to see a lot of venues and job site scuttle out there with contracts coming up that you're either going to be able to show proof of vaccination, or you will have to have a negative COVID test prior to going and after. So you may not want to prove vaccination, but it may end up being more business sense to try to go that way just for the fact of cost reasons. I mean, I know on a personal basis, I would much rather be able to show a vaccination proof to get on to an event or something than I would to have to go take a negative test prior and a negative test after. I mean, that's just, it's just not, besides the economics to it, it's nothing that I want to go through personally.
Yeah, given that I'm one shot away from being fully vaccinated, I'd have no problem having a QR code and going wherever I got to go because I got it anyway. So,
yeah, me too.
So we always like to end with a question, and we got a backlog of questions, but we're getting through them. So this one, John, I think is more for you. I can obviously put my 2 cents in, but the question is from Carlos Esperanza, and he wants to know, in the roofing industry, what is the best way to go about hiring labor? Okay. Obviously, I hear a lot. It's usually, what people do. There are a variety of recruiters and sources and labor pools out there that can be used. We routinely get involved when, one competitor takes another, roofing superintendent or something like that. But I guess, from a common sense standpoint, John, what do you see? What if you're a new roofing contractor just getting started? What would you say is the best way to go about, finding a good crew or hiring that key person?
Well, it's a great question, and it's never an easy one sentence answer because recruitment has been an issue for a long, long time, and it's probably going to continue or even erode even more. But that all being said, some of the more successful things that we've been able to do in the industry is have a referral program right inside your own company. If you actually use referral basis to hire somebody, friend of a friend that wants to be in there, and you want to do the referral, so both the person that you're hiring and the person that recommended them for hire, they get to share in it. Usually what works that way is it's after 90 days, you get a piece of it, whatever you decide it to be. And I'm just making this as an example. If it's $100 or whatever it is, 500, whatever you want to make it to at, you give so much at 90 days and then so much at 6 months. And then if they're there a year, you may have a good incentive bonus on top of that. That works probably better than any other hiring tactic I've ever come across. The other thing too is, and this is a little more in depth, but to tell you quickly, think about an incentive program inside of your construction company, your roofing company, right? If, for pay per performance once they get in there and whatever, whether it's being able to train, move up a level from one roofer to the other, it's more than just pay. You got to have those things. And then the word of mouth starts to get out. And that's really your best recruitment tool is word of mouth, that you're a better place to work at, a better work environment than anybody else in your area.
Yeah, and don't forget, retention is as important, if not more important than recruitment. So you got to keep the people that you got happy.
Yep.
That way you don't have to keep hiring, right? So, great conversations today, John. As always, really enjoy talking to you.
We always have great questions too. Our audience is great.
And listen, for those of you guys out there, send us your questions. We're getting through them. We promise we'll answer all of them. You can email me at tcotney@cotneycl.com. John, how can they get you?
jkenny@cotneycl.com.
Great. Well, stay tuned next time for another episode of Law and Mortar. I'm sure we'll have plenty of things to discuss.
Take care.